Welcome to Leadership on the Leading Edge, the inner game of lasting success. I'm Kara Shug, here with Dr. Ron Stotz, and together we're exploring what it really takes for high achievers and visionary leaders to move beyond just outer success into deeper fulfillment, conscious leadership, and lasting impact.
Yeah, in this series, we're going to go beyond strategies and surface fixes, and we'll expose you to the hidden patterns that keep leaders trapped in cycles of burnout, pressure, and overdrive. More importantly, we'll show you how to transform those patterns so that success comes from peace, creativity, and authenticity.
And each episode blends real client stories, not with their real names, of course, cutting edge research, and practical tools that you can use immediately. Whether you're leading a company, a team, or simply your own busy life, these conversations will give you the inner game advantage.
Yeah. So let's dive into today's episode, the 40% advantage, why self-aware leaders outperform their competition. I'm Dr. Ron Stotz, and I'm joined here by Coach Shug. And today we're going to be delivering something that could literally transform not only your own life but your business.
We're talking about the 40% advantage. Just hearing that number and not even know exactly what we're talking about, it's got to sound good. I want a 40% advantage. Research from Harvard Business Review shows that companies led by self-aware executives outperform their peers an average of 40% in key performance metrics.
Yeah, and the truth is, this is what's fascinating. Most leaders think they're already self-aware, but organizational psychologist Dr. Tasha Eurich studied over 5,000 executives and found that while 95% of people think they're self-aware, only about 10 to 15% actually are. So have the humility to recognize, yes, you're as aware as you are. There might be a huge amount of awareness a vast amount of awareness that you can still access that'll really support your life, support your leadership.
Yes, it's a fact, guys. I am his guinea pig. I'm one of thousands, but it absolutely everything he's saying I have proved out in the work I've done with him. So research from the University of Rochester shows that self-reflective learning creates neural pathways that are 73% more likely to stick long term compared to passive information consumption. So I'm a big Audible fan. I really am, guys, and I won't stop that. However, that's passive. And I, again, even better than the 40% advantage, I'd like that 73%.
And that is available. Yeah. So what we're suggesting is keep breathing throughout this episode. And, Harvard Medical School shows us that conscious breathing activates your prefrontal cortex. That's really where your higher levels of thinking originate. That's what we call a conscious CEO of your brain. So it shows that conscious breathing activates your prefrontal cortex and keeps your nervous system in learning mode rather than in stress mode.
And by the end of this episode, you'll walk away with practical tools to develop what Daniel Goleman calls the meta ability, that skill that makes all other leadership skills possible.
What's the last major decision that you made that didn't work out as you expected it to? Looking back, were there warning signs that you ignored?
So, research from the Center for Creative Leadership found that 75% of leadership failures stem from emotional derailment,
Yeah.
situations where leaders' unconscious patterns and their blind spots completely sabotage their success.
Yeah, I mean, Harvard Business School studied decision-making patterns in, I think it was like over 1,000 executives, and truly found something remarkable. Leaders who regularly engage in self-reflection make 23% fewer strategic errors and recover from mistakes 34% faster.
Whew, that adds up, you guys. We've been rewarded our entire careers for solving external problems and managing external metrics.
Research at UCLA shows that high performers' brains literally develop stronger neural pathways for external attention and weaker pathways for self-awareness.
Studies from the Consortium for Research on Emotional Intelligence shows that self-awareness accounts for 36% of leadership effectiveness, more than technical skills, more than even industry knowledge or strategic ability to think. So we've done this in the last several classes. If you're coming again, I'm sorry you have to go through the little bit of instructions, but we're just going to tell you we're going to do sentence completions. And guys, it is such a powerful tool. You take a breath in, Dr. Ron or I will say the beginning of a sentence, and then you repeat what we said and just finish it with whatever comes out. We do it more than one time because every time you go a little bit deeper into your subconscious, again, breathing and maybe even closing your eyes will help you get a little deeper. So take a good breath in and then complete this sentence. The pattern I keep repeating in my leadership is, okay, I'm going to say it again. Good breath in. The pattern I keep repeating in my leadership is, doing good, guys. Playful out. You got no time like the present. Good deep breath in. The pattern I keep repeating in my leadership is, okay, last time. The pattern I keep repeating in my leadership is,
And just continue your breathing and take a big breath in. And now say and complete, when I'm stressed, I tend to, big breath in, go again, during and with your exhale, saying, when I'm stressed, I tend to, and completing that with whatever comes up. Let yourself look deeper, not just at what you know you know. Let that editor take a break and look deeper. When I'm stressed, I tend to, big breath in, just continuing on your own, every breath. Big breath in. When I'm stressed, I tend to, what you're doing is accessing your subconscious awareness, and that allows you to make it conscious. So when I'm stressed, I tend to, if you really let yourself go in and look deeper, is going to give you all sorts of insights into terms of how you can do it differently, in a more empowering way. Okay, thanks.
okay, so research from Daniel Goleman shows that emotional intelligence accounts for 58% of job performance across all industries.
Yeah, I mean, at senior leadership level, studies from the Center of Creative Leadership found that 75% of careers are derailed for reasons related to emotional incompetence, not technical incompetence. You know, I work with executives all the time, and I see that when they were young, even as children, they were smart and they were applauded for that intelligence, and that got them into the right schools and that got them into the right jobs. And so it's not like they're not smart. They have the IQ, but what they're running into, that glass ceiling that they run into, is they don't have enough self-awareness and emotional EQ, the emotional intelligence. So that just means when you run into that, when you run into those struggles, it really doesn't mean anything other than you're ready to evolve. That's a congratulations for getting to that point, not a, oh my God, I've got to start all over. So really keep that in mind.
Yeah, guys, this is such big stuff. And the statistic I'm about to give you right now, if this doesn't just blow you away. And everything we talk about, I do want to say this, everything that we talk about is thoroughly researched, and we put in the show notes that you can go and check it out to back it up, because it's very, very important to both of us. Our integrity is probably one of the most important things on the planet, right? So, please check it out. But this is stunning. MIT's Sloan School tracked 515, 515 executives over 5 years. They found out that those in the top 10% for emotional intelligence showed a 390% better business results than those in the bottom 10%. Crazy numbers.
Mm. I see it with my clients. I mean, I see people literally as they develop more self-awareness and become more emotionally intelligent, they restructure their businesses. All of a sudden, everything begins to change, and sort of that wave goes out through the entire organization, and productivity and profits just skyrocket. I'm talking, yeah, I'm safe to say that 50% because of all the research shows that, but I'm seeing people doing 100% and more. So yeah, don't there's no limitation, no ceiling. You know,
Yeah. How much
real
happiness is too much?
yeah, good way to say it. So real emotional intelligence isn't about being soft. It's about reading emotional data as skillfully as you read financial data. The more emotionally aware you are of yourself, the more emotionally aware you are of others. You can be more compassionate and empathetic, but you can also use that understanding to really further your career and better your relationships.
And guys, Google's Project Oxygen analyzed thousands of managers and found that technical expertise ranked last in what makes managers effective. The top factors were all EQ related: being a good coach, empowering teams, expressing interest in the team member's success, making them feel like you care, and actually, you get to care. It's very cool.
Research from Yale Center for Emotional Intelligence shows that leaders with a high EQ create emotional contagion. What I mean by that is their emotional state literally influences the mood, energy, and performance of everyone around them. So, if you come storming in a bad mood, that's going to create a different type of emotional contagion, and everybody's going to shut down and you're not going to get anything done that's worthwhile anyway. So come in with really a high EQ that allows everybody to open up and bring out their best so that you can get things done and accomplish what you wish.
Yeah, guys, you know, emotionally intelligent leaders create teams that are a lot more effective. They have three times more creativity and problem solving. And so we put so much emphasis on IQ. What we're telling you is EQ is more important in a lot of ways.
Good. All right. Let's move into sentence completion again. This is not just an exercise in, you know, uh, futility or whatever. It's an exercise that literally is neurologically rewiring your brain. It's these exercises in the context of this class that are literally going to create the changes that are going to enhance your life, even as we, in this moment. So taking a big breath in, we're going to say and complete the sentence. When I'm at my emotional best as a leader, so big breath in, saying and completing, when I'm at my emotional best as a leader, really looking deeper each time. You find yourself repeating the same sentence, then look deeper, breathe and look deeper. Big breath in. When I'm at my emotional best as a leader, big breath in. And when I'm at my saying and completing the sentence. And one more on your own. Big breath in. When I'm at my emotional best.
You
Way
guys
to
are
go.
doing great. Just hang in there, do it, do it, do it, do the work, do the work. Take another good breath in. The emotion I have the hardest time managing is just bring in some awareness. Maybe you have an emotion that's completely hidden and you won't find it right now because you got to go a little deeper. Good deep breath in. The emotion I have the hardest time managing is good, good, good. The emotion I have the hardest time managing is breathe, dig, dig deep, close your eyes. One more good time. The emotion I have the hardest time managing is
You know, before you make important decisions, do you check in with your internal state, or do you just analyze external data? I know I was having lunch with a friend. He's been teaching martial arts for well over 50 years, 55 years now. And he asked me a question that caught me off guard. He said, Ron, what is it that you do to kind of see where you are at any given time, what your state is? And my answer was clear to me. I said, well, if I can take a full, deep, gentle breath and exhale, and I quiet my mind within that one breath, I know I'm doing well. If it takes me multiple breaths, then those are just degrees of how off I might be. Sometimes it might take me 20 minutes to get recentered. Well, that means I need to really be taking some time to take care of myself. And so, yeah, just begin to use that. Before I get on a call with somebody, I always take a couple gentle breaths and I'm just checking to see where I am, how I'm doing. So that eternal internal awareness allows you to be conscious enough to take care of yourself. You know what time of day you make your best decisions, your best strategic decisions? What situations trigger your worst decision-making patterns? The difference between fear-based and wisdom-based decisions in your own system. You want to understand that because you can change that. You can shift that so that you're always in your best state, making your best decisions.
And there was another study that showed 25% improvement in decision quality when you do that.
Yeah, yeah. Self-aware leaders don't just make better decisions, they make faster decisions. They trust their intelligence and that internal guidance system. In today's rapidly changing, ever increasing complex business world, we don't have the luxury of going, well, let's check back and see what we did 5 years ago. You have to be present. You have to be fully aware and making decisions right in the moment. And I know that could be exhausting. But if you've really brought yourself up to speed, if you've healed the past and have become that conscious, authentic leader that you're capable of being, then you're going to find yourself just able to be present and dealing with those challenges in a very comfortable way because your mind looks for the opportunity. Your mind looks for the answers that you know are there rather than going, oh my goodness, now and going into stress and struggle. So, yeah.
Yeah. And guys, all the stuff that we're doing on this, we want you to take it. We want you to use it. We want you to teach it to other people. Dr. Ron has a secret agenda. What is your secret agenda?
That's the secret.
Come on, tell them.
Well, what I've discovered is I was it was a conversation with my great grandchildren, and they really wanted to know why I wasn't leaving the world in better shape because they knew I kind of like to make everything better as I go through life, and I realized that what's the most productive thing that I can be doing to leave them a better world, and I recognize that leaders can really have a huge impact and lasting impact, not only in their organization but in the world. And my hidden agenda is I want to create a more conscious and caring world, not only for my own great grandchildren, but for everybody's children. And so, yeah, becoming a conscious leader is really, yes, you're going to be more productive, you're going to enjoy your life more, everything is going to get better, but you're also the waves of, we talked about your emotions wave out through and infect everybody in around you. Well, create a conscious organization and you impact the world and impact it in a really positive way.
It is so powerful, guys. I know that we don't realize how much power each and every human has, and that means you. Every human is powerful beyond their wildest dreams. Just think about this. If I asked you, is there something that you have the power to do to absolutely mess up your family's life this week? How many of you would say, absolutely? Yeah, I could do this and it would be terrible for them. It would be, well, that's power. That's power in the wrong way. And we're trying to show you to get your power in the right way. So let's go right back into sentence completion. Take a good deep breath in, fat. Take a good deep breath in, feet on the floor. My best decisions usually come when okay, another good one. My best decisions usually come when one more time, two more times, three more times maybe. Let me just see what happens. My best decisions usually come when one more. My best decisions usually come when
Just breathe in, big breath, and we'll move into the next sentence, saying, completing as you exhale. The decision I regret most, the decisions I regret most were made when I was feeling what? What was the emotion or the feeling that you were having around the time those decisions you regret the most were made? Big breath in. The decisions I regret most were made when I was feeling, looking deeper each time. This is how you find out what's really going on. This is the subconscious stuff that you're tapping into that's really going to be helpful. Big breath in. The decision I regret most were made when I was feeling, big breath in, one more time on your own. Yeah, good, nice going. I want you to, just a side note, there's people talk about power. I've explored a great deal in my life. Most people feel like if they have control over others, that that's power. And that's just imagined power. It's temporary power. It's not real power. Real power is you feeling authentic and confident. Real power comes from who you are, not how you're affecting other people. So yeah, go for the real stuff, not the temporary fake stuff.
absolutely, guys. Authenticity is the most attractive thing in a human. It truly is. When someone is truly authentic, you do know it, you do feel it. And yes, I know that there are shysters out there who can pull the wool over a lot of people's eyes. They won't pull the wool over you if you are really truly self-aware. And so self-aware leaders are feedback magnets. Have you ever had a time when you were leading a group of anything and no one was telling you anything? Well, guys, they're afraid to tell you. You need to be a feedback magnet, not a feedback avoider. You really do want to hear what people have to say, and you have to make them feel safe to say it.
Yeah, and self-aware leaders are able to be more vulnerable because they are confident within themselves. And so, you get a self-aware leader, they're more likely to actively seek feedback because they're curious, they're present, they want to know, they want to really not only be able to take better care of themselves, but they want to be able to take care of others too.
And they understand something very profound. Feedback is data, not judgment. So self-aware leaders create systems for getting better feedback. Instead of, how am I doing? They ask, what's one thing I could do differently to be more effective? Be
That's
specific.
nice. Yeah. Yeah, more authentic you are, the more influence you're going to have with others. You're going to be more centered and taking better care of yourself, and that relationship with yourself is going to be mirrored in others. So yeah.
Authenticity isn't about sharing every thought and feeling. It's about being internally congruent, where your values, your words, and your actions are aligned, guys. Oversharing is just a scream for attention. It's not genuine authenticity.
Yeah, I mean, research from Gallup shows that authentic leaders creating, engagement multipliers. Their geniusness makes everyone around them more willing to contribute, and not only just contribute, but contribute their best.
Yeah, so let's just dive right back into a few more sentences. Two more. Take a good deep breath in. I'm most authentic as a leader when, again, I'm most authentic as a leader when, dig deep. I am most authentic as a leader when, I'm most authentic as a leader when, you're doing great, guys. Stick with it. One more good time, and then we'll move on to one more. I'm most authentic as a leader when,
Yeah, this next one's good. So take a big breath in and saying complete. The mask I sometimes wear as a leader is, be honest with yourself. Really take a look. What's that attitude? What's that posture that you take on? The mask I sometimes wear as a leader is, big breath in, saying and completing that sentence several times. Looking deeper, be honest with yourself. Big breath in. The mask I sometimes wear as a leader is, feel your body. Is that does your body feel maybe that's what you did when you were a young child? Is you kind of bolstered yourself up or gritted your teeth or whatever, whatever it is you did internally or externally. Notice if there's any semblance or mirroring of that. Big breath in. The mask I sometimes wear as a leader is. One more time on your own. Big breath in. Way to go. All right. Yeah. Self-awareness isn't about achieving perfection. It's about developing conscious choice, the ability to respond rather than react.
See, every time you pause and ask, what's really driving my decision? You're building the meta skill that makes all the other leadership skills way more effective.
So yeah, if you'd like to explore taking a deeper look and really getting to know who you are, what you're the effect of, if you feel like you're bumping into some limitations, what you've done before isn't really working to take you where you want to get to now, give us a call. We both really truly enjoy being on a discovery call where we can see where you want to get to, what's holding you back and that gap in between, and really allow you some really deep clarity into what your next steps are and what you can do with your life.
And we know that you are very busy professionals, and we thank you for investing this time in your development. And it was an investment. You literally started rewiring your brain doing this, and we want you to continue doing it on your own. And the ripple effects of your increased self-awareness will impact everyone that you lead.
When you commit to raising your own consciousness and self-awareness, you're not just improving your leadership, you're elevating the potential of everyone's life around you, everybody that you touch. And if today's conversation resonated with you, if you recognize yourself in the patterns we've been described here, know this, you don't have to stay stuck there. Karen and I, along with our team of coaches, work with a very select number of achievers who are ready for this deeper work. We really, truly do not just hand out coping strategies, how to act as if strategies. We help you heal the root causes so you can really have both high-level success and inner peace. So if you'd like to explore working with us directly, then you can schedule a complimentary discovery call with either Kara or myself. You can see the links below.
Remember, guys, you chose the patterns as a child, and they worked perfectly for you then. However, as an adult, those same patterns are nowhere near as effective. You've been living with these patterns, and now it's your responsibility to change them. You can't out hustle your wounds, but you can heal from them. And when you do, you'll discover what the most visionary leaders already know. Real success includes well being, not despite it, but because of it. Thank you for listening, and thank you for having the courage to step into the inner game of lasting success. We'll see you on the next episode.
Thanks so much for coming and taking care of yourself. Appreciate it.